Guys, welcome back, and today we're gonna make this lovely dress that you just saw there. Yeah, went on fast. It's a child's dress, but you can use the same tutorial to make an adult's similar dress, which I think would look really lovely. All right, to begin with, I'm gonna make cut off this cut of this fabric. It's an easy tutorial. So the child I'm making this cut for has a waist of 20 inches. So as you can see, I did 21 inches, and then I folded that fabric by 2, just to give it an allowance and to ensure that it has some really nice covers when I put the elastic band on. And then I did a length of 14 inches. Now I've already added an allowance at the top of 1 inch. You can do the same. So if your length is 14 inches, just add 1 or 2 inches stitching and waistband allowance at the bottom, so you don't cut the exact length of your piece of cloth. So for my skirt, I just need a rectangular piece of fabric that measures 40 inches long by 14 inches wide, and that's all I need for my skirt. And then I pin it down. I always love pinning my fabrics down so that I can cut the 2 fabrics together with ease. So that's the fabric. I'm going to remove the pins and show you the full fabric. That is it. It's quite long, 40 inches by 13 inches. On one side I'm going to hem a normal hem, and then the other side I'm going to hem but with an inch wide hem. Okay, so the top side, the yellow side, is an inch, and the bottom one is just the normal kind of hem. And this is it after me hemming the 2 sides. So this is the side, the 1 inch side is the one that I'm going to put the elastic through. That's my elastic band. And then the bottom is the bottom of my skirt. Now, then for the length, to determine the length of your waistband, again, the waist of my girl is 20 inches. So I reduced the waistband, the elastic band, by 3 inches. So I made it have a length of 17 inches instead of 20 inches, just so it's a little tight on the girl, so she can also wear it as a skirt with a lot of ease. Now you notice that this is a 2-piece or rather 3-piece design. You can detach the top from the bottom, wear it as a skirt, or you can wear them all together like a lovely dress that has suspenders on it. So again, that's me inserting the waistband. I'm going to pin the waistband on the end so that when I'm stitching, I stitch the waistband together with the fabric. Okay, and then I'm going to stitch the two sides together so that I have a mini skirt with the right sides facing all the time. Right sides facing, and then I'm going to do that stitch, and voila, I have a skirt. That's the teeny little skirt I made. And then we're going to put that aside and work on the top bit of the dress. Okay, so for the top bit I need 4 pieces of fabric. I will need 1 piece of fabric, 2 pieces of fabric that are of equal length, and 2 others that are of equal length. So this is me. I was thinking of using 3.5 inches, and then I figured it's a child's dress. That's going to be quite a huge, big suspender over there, so reduced it to 2.5 inches. So my fabric, the one I'm cutting right now, is 2.5 inches by 22 inches long. Now the length of the child from the waist front to the waist back is around 20 inches. So I'm making it 22 inches because I want it to have some really nice colors. I don't want to make it also too big. Okay, and then it allows the dress to be a little adjustable. The suspenders, you can actually adjust them. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces of this that measure 20 inches or rather 22 inches long by 2.5 inches wide. Now when I do my band, it will have a length of 1 inch. The 1/2 inch is the seam allowance that I will have on the fabric. So I will cut off that's the 2 short strips of fabric, 2.5 inches again by 22 inches. Again, this depends on the length of your child from the waist front to the waist back, like through the shoulders. How long is that in inches? And then I'm going to cut a slightly longer one, that's 27 inches. 27 inches by 2.5 inches. So the width is the same. I'm just going to adjust the length because I need this to be slightly longer than the flap. This will be where I will put the elastic through, and I want it to be slightly longer than the flap. Okay, so that the flap just goes only right above the skirt, while this one is what we will use to attach the suspenders to the skirts. Don't worry, it will all make sense when you see what I mean. So this is longer. It will be 26 inches by 2.5 inches. You can also make it just 25 inches. It doesn't have to be that long as mine. It can be slightly shorter. Again, for the two sides, so I'm gonna cut it as two pieces because I need one for each shoulder again. So this, again, to repeat, goes from the front of the waist up through the shoulders to the back of the waist. So just cut one fabric for all of that instead of attaching many fabrics together. Again, it's like a suspender, so think about it as a suspender-like design. So I'm gonna cut this out. Yeah, nicely. Again, I love pinning my fabrics together. Helps me cut with a lot of ease. So I've pinned them together, and then I'm gonna cut off my second set of strips. And I have two sets of strips now. These are the two long ones, which measure 27 inches long, and then the first ones were the short ones, which measured 22 inches long. Okay, so I'll take the short one and I'll hem. Please hem all the sides and just leave one long side open. All the sides, just leave one long side open. I've already hemmed it, so I'm gonna try and put it in the middle of the fabric. So as you can see, it's not exactly on the edge, it's somewhere in the middle of the fabric, and then I'm gonna fold the short fabric in. Now you're trying to leave the hemmed, to make sure the hemmed side is exactly in the middle, so you're not stitching it. It's not meant to be stitched. What I'm trying to do is tuck it inside the long strips of fabric, so that when I'm finished hemming, my raw edge for the short fabric is well tucked in. It's hidden. It cannot be seen. Again, so short inside, short fabric into the long fabric, and then you want to align one of the raw edges of the short fabric to the two raw edges of the long fabric, tucking in the already hemmed side in so that you don't stitch it in the process. And then you want to pin it all the way to the edge, from one edge to the other, so that your stitching becomes easy and fast. Okay, so again, the raw edge, the hemmed edge should be tucked in. Try not to stitch on that. So I'm gonna do that to the two fabrics again. This is Peoria. Put your fabric in the middle and then tuck in. You're like folding, rolling it in so that you have, it doesn't go all the way to the edges, so that you have three edges together, two edges of the long fabric and one edge, the unhemmed edge of the short fabric, pinned together for a stitch. I hope it makes sense. And again, you're leaving some allowance on either side of the strips of fabric. This is the allowance you're going to use to attach the buttons. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, so once you've done it, you will pin it and then you will hem it. Now leave the edges open. Again, this is me saying close them up. No, don't close them up. Leave them open because you'll have to insert an elastic through them. Okay, so please leave it both ends open. I stitched mine and I had to undo them because I realized after that I cannot put an elastic through if they're closed up. Okay, so I'm gonna try and figure out how to turn this inside out. Remember my fluffy fabric is in there, so when I turn it inside out, it shall actually come out. So I'm gonna try how to figure out how to do this off the camera. If I had a long pin, I'd show you how to do it, but I don't have lost mine. So I'll go off and try and figure out how to pull it out, to turn it the other way around. And I did figure that out, and this is what I've ended up with. Two fabrics, the flaps, you can easily see them, and the belt, or rather the belt through which, rather the band through which the elastic will go through. Now you notice that my elastics are quite short, they're 15 inches long only. So from the waist front to the waist back was 20 inches, so I reduced it by 5 inches. One, because this is a thinner elastic band, so it's more elastic, it can easily pull. And two, because I did not want to use a thicker fabric, the thicker elastic like the one I used previously, because it's a child's dress. I don't want them to string their shoulders. I mean, carrying all that weight, all that elasticity on the weight on the shoulder. So I decided to use a thinner elastic band for the shoulders, and works perfectly well. So that's one of the two bands, and then I'm going to insert the elastic through the other one. The elastic again is shorter than the actual length of your shoulder, the waist, front waist to the back waist, because that is what gives it the gathers that it has right now. We make it the same size, then there'll be no gathers. Okay, so try and make it different sizes. Again, I'm going to pin this together, the elastic to the edges of my fabric. I'm going to pin them together like so, and then I will tuck the raw edges on the ends in so that I neaten them out. I do not want to leave my raw edges sticking out, so I will have to tuck them in and stitch along the tucked in edges. Again, you don't want to leave them hanging out there. It's not neat. It doesn't look very neat. That's me trying to tuck them in, and then ensuring also that the elastic is stitched on that very end. I've also rolled up the elastic or turned it in so that the raw edge of the elastic is also not left in the open, to avoid fraying the elastic as well or pulling. So yeah, tuck it in and then do the same for all the sides of the elastic. Me trying to tuck it in again. Please try and do this, as it ensures that you have some really neat end product at the end. Now that's me, I've done it already, so I'm going to go to my sewing machine and neaten out all of them. Now this is a dress without the elastic. Again, you can go back and pose. That's the dress without the elastic. If I was to just add the suspenders without the elastic, that's how the dress would look like. But I thought the suspenders, the elastic, just gave it a little playful, childlike appearance. That's why I thought to add the elastic. But you can actually do it without the elastics to have something like what you just saw. You can always go back and pose and see what it looks like. I'll also show you a picture of that at the end. Now for the buttons, I'm not going to use the normal buttons because I don't want to make a buttonhole on my skirt. It's so lovely to have a buttonhole, so I'm going to use the snap buttons and attach them on the inside. So on the outside you won't even know they're there, so I'm going to attach them on the inside of my skirt using a needle, unfortunately, and then I'm going to have them attached. So the snap buttons, child can easily work with them, and they also ensure that nothing is seen on the outside. So I'll attach them on all the edges of my suspender and show you after. Now this is the dress as a finished product. So I've already attached the snap buttons. There they are. You can always snap them to undo them, to remove them, and wear your skirt as a skirt if you have a top you fancy, or you can add them back to have that lovely dressy look. It's very playful when it has all those gathers round the shoulders and round the waist. I think every child needs that kind of play. Haha. Yeah, so I'll also remember I said you have a choice of not adding the elastic on the suspenders and just having it. Now notice that my flappy bits right above the skirt. I didn't want them to go under the skirt. I just wanted them right above the skirt, and that's why I had one long band and one shorter than the other. Okay, and yeah, that's the final dress that you can wear as that, or you could just leave it at that stage and wear it as that. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't. Bye bye.